Hey guys, it's Reese, and for today's video, I don't know if this is gonna be completely like a ridiculous idea or not, but if there's something that I can talk about for hours upon end, it is the sorting of and theories behind the 4 Hogwarts houses. Now, I am not J.K. Rowling, obviously, but today I'll be your honorary J.K. Rowling and try to explain to you my interpretation of the Hogwarts houses and what, I mean, if you're not really familiar with Harry Potter, like what it means to be in what house you're in. I'm personally a Ravenclaw, obviously, but I'm not gonna like try and be biased towards my house. I feel like I have a pretty good scope on all of the houses, and obviously it's like zodiac signs. The Hogwarts houses are literally like zodiac signs, except I feel like they're more believable because some people are very speculatory about zodiac signs. I feel like the Hogwarts houses are more believable. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I'm going to like be explaining like my experiences and my thoughts and perspectives on the houses and what they mean. But obviously it's not like a box, like it might not apply to you personally. It's just the general idea. And I'm not talking about like hybrid houses or anything. This is just your real actual house. So if you don't know what house you're in, you can watch the entire video. I'm going to be going house by house, interpreting each one of them for you. Maybe you can watch through and try to see which house you might think you belong in, and then you can go onto Pottermore or a different website and take the sorting quiz and find out which house you actually are in. Or if you just want to learn about my thoughts on all the houses, you can just watch the whole video, be my guest, or I'm going to put timestamps in the description for each individual house if you just want to hear about your own house. Again, these are my personal opinions from being a Harry Potter fan for over 10 years. I didn't create Harry Potter. This is just my thoughts and my perspective for you. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. So the first house I'm going to be talking about is what is kind of portrayed as the dominant house at Hogwarts, and that is Gryffindor. So obviously, even if you're just a casual Harry Potter fan, you've just seen the films, Gryffindor has a slew of our main characters. Hermione, I love how I say Hermione first. Hermione, Harry, and Ron are all Gryffindors. The house colors of Gryffindor are scarlet and gold, and their mascot is a lion. The Harry Potter Wikipedia says that some of the main traits of a Gryffindor are courage, bravery, determination, daring, etc. So Gryffindor is kind of the house that everybody who's just becoming a Harry Potter fan wants to be in, because it's like, oh, all the cool characters are Gryffindors, all the other houses are lame. Like, I just want to be a Gryffindor, yay! And there's nothing wrong with being a Gryffindor, and I'm gonna go into all these houses with pros and cons. There's nothing wrong with being a Gryffindor. It is just, it's not the best. I mean, there's no best house, but it's not the elite house. Like, they're all on the same playing field. Gryffindors probably seem more dominant because they're one of the more extroverted houses. I feel like the houses are split: extroverted Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, introverted Ravenclaw and Slytherin. Gryffindors are very extroverted. They love being in a group of people, and they are extremely loud. You can hear a pack of Gryffindors coming from a mile away. Gryffindors have a real determination to them. They strive for glory. However, it's a different determination than what you'll see in a Slytherin, because it's not as self-motivated, like trying to reach their, like, get their way. They don't care if they're reaching success with a group of their best friends. They would actually probably prefer that. They're just very motivated in the way that they want people to know who they are, and they want people to like them, and they want to be the center of attention. This can mean that Gryffindors are a little bit cocky. They definitely tend to have an ego on them, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It definitely gives them an aura of confidence. Definitely walking in like they own the room. Gryffindors are definitely very likable. You would want to be friends with them. They probably want to be friends with you. Not to say that a Gryffindor won't want time on their own, but they're definitely probably the house that most loves being with other people, because they strive off of getting reactions out of people and having other people like them and just interacting. Obviously, the stereotypical trait of Gryffindor is being brave, and being brave is, it's a strange word because obviously most people are not put in the situations that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are, where they literally have to like battle to the death and kill people. But in the sense that they'll stand up to people and defend their friends. I mean, they love sports, like in Quidditch, they're very daring, and they're definitely not one to back down from a challenge because they're scared. Overall, if you're a very extroverted person, if you love being around other people, if you really feel like you belong in a group where you're able to achieve stuff together, if you want to be famous, if you just want people to like you, Gryffindor is kind of that safe space for you. Gryffindors are definitely very admirable. A lot of people look up to them. They're generally a good role model, although they can get themselves into trouble very easily. And I would say that Gryffindor's intentions are usually in the right place, and they just want to be known, and they want to have a good time with their friends, and they don't really care about the consequences until they've already done their actions. Some popular characters in pop culture that I think are Gryffindors would be Captain America, Thor, Percy Jackson, Ariel, and Mulan. So that's all for Gryffindor, and now we're going to move on to Hufflepuffs. Puffs are honestly just the best, and they're so underappreciated and underrepresented in the Harry Potter series. Some Harry Potter Hufflepuffs you might know are Cedric Diggory and Newt Scamander. The colors of Hufflepuff are yellow and black, and their symbol is a badger. Some of the listed traits of a Hufflepuff are diligence, fairness, kindness, and loyalty, among others. So Hufflepuffs are commonly seen as the very nice, friendly house, and I really don't think that's wrong. That's not to say that Hufflepuffs are always sunshine and rainbows, but I definitely think that they have the most kind-hearted mindset and opened mind of all of the houses. Hufflepuffs are, again, another extroverted house where they really thrive off of being with other people, but not as much as Gryffindor, where they want people to know them and they want people to like them and praise them, but that they want to help other people and make their day better and show them kindness and just have a nice time. Hufflepuffs really appreciate their friendships, but they'll go out of their way to talk to anybody who they think looks like they're having a bad day, regardless of if they're friends or not. And their eye is never on the prize, and they're not extremely dedicated and focused on achieving success like a Gryffindor or a Slytherin would be. For example, if there was a Quidditch match between Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, the two extroverted houses, if Hufflepuff lost and Gryffindor won, Gryffindor would be throwing the biggest party ever in their dorm. They would be proclaiming their victory for days and days, and Hufflepuff would say, "Good game, guys, it was so fun playing against you, have a nice day," and then they would go back to their dorm and they would go on with their lives because they just had fun playing the game. If Hufflepuff won, Gryffindor would be getting the refs involved, they would be saying that it wasn't fair, that they need a rematch, and Hufflepuff would say, "Guys, that was so close, great game, you'll get us next time," and then they would probably have a modest celebration and just be very proud of their accomplishments, not feeling the need for others to praise them. A Hufflepuff is definitely the person that you want to go to when you're having problems. They're very empathetic, and they really understand what you're going through, and they understand the value of human connection. But that's not to say that if you are making fun of one of their close friends, or they see you doing something unkind that is directly affecting maybe not themselves, they wouldn't be so quick to defend themselves, but another person, then they will definitely snap at you and make sure that that behavior stops. Hufflepuffs really have a way of appreciating the little things in life. They have a connection to nature and animals, and they really they like to enjoy life, not to the partying extent of Gryffindors, but just to the small little things aspects. Definitely the kind aura of a Hufflepuff can make them very easy to take advantage of. If people take advantage of your kindness and kind of walk all over you, that's definitely a con of being a Hufflepuff. But their sense of trust when you're around them, that you can tell them anything and they won't repeat it to somebody, and that they'll always be there to support you and lift you up and not compete against you, just be there for you. It's a really great aspect of being a Hufflepuff or having a friend who's a Hufflepuff. Also, they're just total dorks. They're very awkward in some social situations, although because they're so eager to, get themselves out there and help other people and make other people's day better, that they definitely can execute it wrong and can just look like total dorks, but in the best way possible. Some famous characters that I would sort into Hufflepuff would be Peter Parker, Bucky Barnes, Anna from Frozen. So now, moving on to the introverted houses, I am going to be talking about my house. I promise I'll try not to bring a bias into it, but I just do love it so much. I'm going to be talking about Ravenclaw. So according to the books, it is different in the movies, but the book colors for Ravenclaw are blue and bronze, and the mascot is an eagle. Some of their listed traits are wit, wisdom, creativity, and originality. Some characters that you might know from Harry Potter that are Ravenclaws are Luna Lovegood and Cho Chang. So Ravenclaws are the stereotypical nerds. They're the know-it-alls, they're the smart kids, and that's kind of really all there is to them. That is honestly so far from the truth, because I feel like what more encompasses Ravenclaw instead of intelligence is the word wisdom. Because anyone can be smart. I mean, look at Hermione Granger, like the smartest person ever. She's a Gryffindor. But there's a sense of wisdom that comes with being a Ravenclaw that isn't just directly attributed to being book smart and doing well in your classes. Ravenclaws have an extremely open mind. They want to learn about anything and everything, not just what they're being tested on or what they need to know. They literally will learn about anything that they can and share that knowledge with you. Ravenclaws are not confrontational, especially about like their knowledge, like where a Slytherin would probably really want to get into an intellectual debate with you, or a Gryffindor would want to have an argument with you just to get a rise out of you. A Ravenclaw more wants to educate you. Like, they don't want to prove their point because they don't really have a point. They just want to share their information with you. Ravenclaws are more introverted, so they do have usually a closer group of friends. They're not as likely to go out like a Hufflepuff or a Gryffindor and actively seek out new friends. They very much enjoy their time in solitude, reading a book or studying or just going for a walk along the Black Lake. This also attributes to Ravenclaw's very, very intense, more than any of the other houses, sense of individualism and very strong sense of originality. Ravenclaws very commonly have an individualist complex where they think that they cannot have anybody else be like them and they have to be one of a kind. They do not want you to think that there are 10 other people who could do the same thing as you or who have the same habits and hobbies and likes as you. They want to be their own person that no one can replicate. This is definitely evident in like Luna Lovegood, where it can make them come off as very weird and strange and just, but it's really just their constant desire to be different. Something that really sets apart the two introverted houses, Ravenclaw and Slytherin, is Ravenclaw's very, very dreamy aura. Ravenclaws can be stuck in their head for hours. They can daydream scenarios. They can just sit and wonder about the future, wonder about knowledge that they haven't learned yet, and they're just constantly, they don't really have like a goal, they're just in their heads all the time. Whereas, I'll get more into it later, but a Slytherin is very determined and they're constantly trying to get stuff done and get their point across and get their agenda done, where a Ravenclaw, that's not their goal. Ravenclaws are super fun to have conversations with because they are so creative and they have so many ideas that they want to share with you. And this creativity can come in so many different forms. It's not a box. And it's really not even necessarily being the top of your class. Like, on average, Ravenclaws tend to be quite smart, just school-wise, but their intelligence, you can be seen in so many other aspects of their lives. So Ravenclaws are definitely very open-minded, they're very thoughtful, since they spend so much time in their heads, they put a lot of thought into their words and their actions, and they're just, you know, they're a little out there, but they're very special, and obviously they're very unique. Some popular characters that I would sort into Ravenclaw would be Belle, Tony Stark, and Nancy Wheeler. So moving on to the fourth and final house, we have the Slytherins. Some popular Slytherins from Harry Potter are all the bad guys, so Draco Malfoy, Bellatrix Lestrange, Tom Riddle, just to name a few. Their house colors are green and silver, and their mascot is a snake. And some of their listed attributes are resourcefulness, cunning, ambition, and determination. So Slytherins, especially if you're not familiar with Harry Potter, are often seen as the bad guys. No one wants to be a Slytherin because all the evil people are Slytherin. If you're sorted into Slytherin, you are automatically a bad person and you are going to be a Death Eater and you are just going to have very bad person. That is not the truth at all. While there are some bad seeds in Slytherin, Peter Pettigrew was a Gryffindor, so no one's safe. Slytherin is definitely a tricky house because a lot of their key aspects can be seen as bad, but that's not necessarily what they are. Slytherins are, again, very introverted. They enjoy spending time with themselves and a close group of friends, and they really will only branch out to new people if they have a plan and these new people are going to benefit them in some way. That definitely comes back to one of the main attributes of Slytherin, which is their cunningness and just their very strong determination. So like a Gryffindor, they're very determined. They want to achieve glory and success. But unlike a Gryffindor, which is more in it for the fun and the fame and the recognition, Slytherins have very key goals. They have a well thought out plan and they know exactly how they're gonna get their goal done. Their goals are usually pretty self-oriented. It's something that they want and that they are really going to use their intelligence. Slytherins are very intelligent. It's a different intelligence than a Ravenclaw, where a Ravenclaw wants to know about everything. They want to have all the knowledge. Slytherins have very specific knowledge. They're very educated on things that are going to benefit them. And they use this intelligence to bring in that aspect of being cunning, where they are very smart and that they know how to get what they want and they will do it. Slytherins are very proud and it can definitely be seen. It's kind of along the lines of Gryffindor, where they can be seen as like cocky almost, but I think with a Slytherin they're a little more reserved about it. Like, they'll keep their plans to themselves until they've actually reached their success, where Gryffindor is kind of already boasting about their victory before it's even happened. Slytherins have this aspect of mystery to them. They're very interesting people and you want to get to know them, but they kind of put up like a barrier around themselves that you really have to become close to them to get to know them. Slytherins will definitely go on the defense very often before the offense, more like a Hufflepuff where they'll defend people. Slytherins will definitely defend themselves, and if you're saying something to them, if you are making fun of them or you are insulting them, they are going to defend themselves. Slytherins are also very passionate about the things that they believe in. They're not so much as open-minded as like a Ravenclaw would be. They know their ways and they know what they want and what their opinions and thoughts are, and they are going to convince you that they are right and that they will argue with you to the death to get their point across. Not to say that they're close-minded, but more that they're very opinionated and that they want you to be like, oh, you make a good point there, you are right, and then they get that real satisfaction out of people understanding them and coming to agree with them. Slytherins are very close to their families, they're very close to their really small group of friends, and they can become really, really awesome people to hang out with once you really get to know them, and you really have to share a lot of the same core values as them to be on their good side. Some popular characters that I would say are Slytherins would be Natasha Romanoff, Gamora, Elsa, and Slytherins are really not as bad as they're made out to be. They're just very passionate and driven and determined to get to their goals. So yeah, that was my analysis of the Hogwarts houses. If you didn't agree with me, I'm sorry. This is kind of just from my personal opinions and my personal experience and just what I've grown to observe over the years. If you want to find out what house you're in and you don't know, you can take the official Pottermore test, or there are so many fan-made quizzes online. And let me know what house you're in the description, and if you agreed with my description of your house, kind of. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or if you learned something, and subscribe if you want more Harry Potter fandom content. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!